we're going to discuss all that in detail, but let's see what's happening right now in Kano State.
YPT 0 and ZLP 0. Total valid votes 4,394. Total rejected votes 70. Total votes cast 4,464. No cancellation. No incident.
My name is Professor Saba Ibrahim Brununkudu. I serve as the collation officer for the supplementary governorship election that took place in Gabasa local government area. The name of my EO is Baraki Arazu Niwali. The code for Gabasawa is 13. Number of registered voters, 2 RAs were affected and 4 polling units. Number of registered voters, 1540. Number of accredited voters, 1129. 1129. Votes scored by the parties are as follows: A 0, AA 0, APP 0, ACD 0, AD 0, ADC 0, AGA 0, AGAP 0, ANDP 0, ANP 0, APA 1, APC 728, APD 728 ABC, APDA 0, APM 0, APP 0, BNPP 0, CAP 0, DA 0, DPC 0, FJP 0, Fresh 0, GDPN 0, GPN 0, HDP 1, ID 0, JMPP 0, KP 0, LP 0, LPN 0, MMN 0, MPN 0, NAC 0, NCP 0, NDLP 0, NEPP 0, NFD 0, NPM 0, NRM 0, NUP 0, PCP 0, PDC 1, PDP 329, PDP 329, PPA 0, PPC 0, PPN 0, PRP 1, RP 0, SDP 0, SNC 0, SMP 1, UPC 0, UPN 0, UPP 0, YPP 0, ZLP 0. Total valid votes 1062. 1062. Rejected votes 3333. Total votes cast 1095. 1095. Thank you. No cancellation. None. There's none.
Well, there you have live pictures coming in from Kano, where the collation of results is ongoing as we speak. It's been a long day, I mean, for INEC, for the agents, for political parties, and especially for the voters.
Even for journalists.
Definitely. And, you know, people are waiting to see, I mean, how will this end, especially because it's been a long process. Coyote said earlier that, I mean, it's been a month. It started as gentle, if I can say that. And all of a sudden, the elections crept up on us, and it snowballed into this major issue that we're talking about right now. Well, let's bring you up to speed. In case you've missed anything during this process, you can catch up on channelstv.com. We have a dedicated page where you can, as it were, catch up. I mean, we have timestamps. What happened at 8 a.m. across the country, what happened at 10 a.m., 12 noon, 1 p.m. So you can go to channelstv.com just to have a sense of things you probably have missed. You can also go on Twitter. Our handle is at Channels TV. You can see all the stories and the results and figures that you've probably missed. You can also watch us live.
Yes, and you have been part of Pollstream
Definitely.
the entire day. So you can go back to Channels Web and watch Pollstream, the various editions of that program that we've seen, we've broadcast.
Definitely. So you trust Channels Television to give you all that you need when it comes to this election. Well, let's come back to our guests in the studio. We just left Kano. Kano is collating as we speak. Now, over time, Kano has generated a lot of talking points. Now, the question is, what is peculiar about Kano? I'll give you an example. On social media right now, I'm talking about Twitter. Kano is trending, which means a lot of people are talking about Kano. And the elections did not just take place in Kano. So what is peculiar about Kano? I'll start from Mr.
If we want to go back to 2014, 2015, I don't know why it was so, but Kano brought the winning figures, i.e., the party in power today. By the time they brought the scores from Kano, they dusted, PDP then. You understand me? And how do you now go about verifying or establishing the fact that the figures given were true of the situation on ground? That went. Why? Because the ruling party then just felt we had lost, and the president called the opponent, corrected him, and then that put an end to all of that chicanery that we would have seen. But as it is now, it's the same Kano again. And you begin to wonder, why must it be Kano every time? Is there a deliberate effort or attempt at making Kano look like, okay, is the winning point, i.e., what happens here will determine the ultimate winner. Which, if it is so, then some people are playing games. Failing that, you must also want to know, why can't you just go vote and then go home, let the votes be counted, a winner declared? We must go back to what I said earlier. All of these are part of the shenanigans of our politicians. They are evil manipulations, which of course are not about service, but about personal enrichment.
I want to believe those are strong words. I mean, using that term, don't you think that's a bit heavy?
You don't have to accept what I'm saying. You don't have to believe what I'm saying. But the point is, if it's as simple as coming here, Channels TV advertised a vacancy, you send in your CV, they call you for an interview, why should it become a big deal that you just come in, meet the panel, answer the questions, and if you are found okay, they employ you, and if not, you go away and try your luck elsewhere. The same principle should apply to elections and competitions. In all cases, somebody must win. But the question is, who is winning? Will the winner be that person who has sold a manifesto or an arrangement of programs to say, these are the things I will do for you if you vote for me? Or people just thinking it's our birthright?
I see Mr. Wezes.
Yes, I think if you have to, you ask a question, why Kano? And you go back to 1963, 1964, the build-up to that, you know, Kano and all that. And don't forget that we have had issues with our census. And I remember when I was in the, you know, I was in the U.S. in 1982 or thereabouts, and I read Time magazine saying that Lagos, I think Time on Newsweek magazine, so the picture of Lagos being the most populous in Africa. You know, and then Lagos was over 10 million as far back as 1980, 1981. And suddenly, Kano, you know, sprang up. And don't forget that census in Nigeria has been very contentious. And Kano has overtaken Lagos, as, which I don't believe. Lagos is a cosmopolitan.
Let me help you. And that is after Jigawa State was cut off from the old Kano State.
Yes, and not only Jigawa State, one other state was cut off from Kano State. You know, so it's all about politics. So the issue of Kano did not start today. You go back to that 63, 64 elections, and they build up, you know, gradually, systematically. And today, Kano has become that turning decisive state that will determine who becomes president of this country. You know, so it's a deliberate arrangement by some politicians to give Kano that status. The Kano state is not supposed to have that kind of status. If any state is populous, it must be Lagos.
All right, so we can talk about these things, you know, but all these things are scientific because there are factors that determine population boom. You talk about standard of living,
even
religion. You talk about culture, and you know that these things differ from place to place. We were all here when these censuses were conducted.
And the then governor of Lagos State, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, had to conduct a parallel census.
Parallel census.
Yeah. Why did he do that? Because maybe he did not trust the kind of...
he never trusted.
How much trusted this thing. So that, when you ask him, Kano, it's a deliberate thing. And when Jega was INEC chairman and all that, that consolidated this. And
all right, when you say, it's a difficult place to be when in the studio here we say it's a deliberate thing. If we're going to knock that off, that's the national status that we have. Yeah. And we're all here when these censuses were conducted. What has to change? What needs to happen? Because a lot of people are talking about a lack of faith in the population figures of Nigeria. What needs to change to do that? Have we had too long a window since the last census?
No, because the last census was conducted in 2006.
Is it too long a window?
No, every 10 years. you're supposed to conduct census. But since 2006, and it's over 10 years.
That's 13 years.
13 years. Nobody has talked about census. Okay? When the former population census chairman, Festus Odumegwu, announced that the population we have been using all these years, was wrong. Figures were wrong. And some people protested and even twisted the arm of, in quotes, the president. And that man was sacked. So even in 1950-something, when Ahmadu Bello, may his soul rest in peace, was at a point he became the chairman of population census. So you see, it has been because census has become a way of sharing of national, wealth and all that. So it's a very important thing, in our this thing. And some people are using that to benefit. It's okay. It's they inflate the census distance. We don't have the correct census in this country. Okay,
now you've taken us back in time, and I'd like for us to look forward now, which is really important.
No, because you need the past,
exactly,
the history to be able to know where we're coming from, what got us here, and then how we can move forward.
Brilliant.
So before you fire your question, let me help you. Kano has over 40 local governments. Lagos, with the crowd that you and I see every day, had 22. Okay?
21 or so.
21.
Yeah.
Over it was the God of Bola Ahmed Tinubu that went on to have a plebiscite, or what did they call it?
Yeah.
And then they brought in the development LCDs, local council development and all of that. And when you look at it, you begin to ask yourself, what went wrong where? So it became obvious, because every morning, from a point that's about 3 minutes from this studio, trucks of human beings get discharged into Lagos every morning. I didn't say every week. Every morning, every day.
I think that's one of the perks of being the economic capital of the country.
All over. And they are majorly northerners. Let's get it very clear. Discharged into Lagos. And then Lagos begin to handle unexpected crowd. So much that today, the number of people selling oranges on the street, cutting nails, available as laborers, Okada, Maruwa, and all those things, they've really, really gone up. And you ask yourself, why is Lagos still being treated as if it's a subset of, it's like Kano?
No, because I read something, just a minute, that every day about 5,000 people enter Lagos, and only 1,000 leave. And you still want to tell me that Kano State is more populous than Lagos State?
Okay, well, while we ruminate on that figure, I'd like for us to look forward briefly. Now, a lot of people have said that good elections are a precursor, if you can say, to good governance. I'm not sure how true that is, but looking at these elections, let's look forward. What should we expect when it comes to governance? And I'm saying this because we expect that elections will come up in the next 4 years, and we don't want to repeat some of these things that happened. So, how do we go about this?
Look. If you're expecting something different, I think you're in a dreamland. I'm sorry to say that, because I'm
actually fully awake right now.
Because when you talk about elections, what gives good governance and all that is when you have a system. The kind of democratic system we run is alien to us. That's why we can never. We find it difficult to get our elections right. Because it's alien to us. So we need to evolve a system that takes into cognizance our heritage, our culture. That is why.
So hold on, sir. Let's put this in perspective. No, because the question Kadi has asked.
Yeah, I'm saying that for us to move forward.
Hold on, sir.
Move forward.
You're saying. Hold on. Well, it's a good day to have to carry the car. Hold on, sir. Allow me, sir. Hold on a second. Now, he said we're running a government that's alien to us. But we're running systems that are alien to us. But these systems have worked in other places. Is the system alien to us, or we are alien to practically all systems?
Can I just, my brother, let me help you. the same car, designed in China, built in China, worked in China, came here, we are driving the same cars. How come that we can no longer or we cannot adapt the same political system that has worked elsewhere and make them work here?
No, the political system that are based on the people's culture. You cannot take away culture of the people.
Who's stopping us?
You know, we cannot. We ran a parliamentary system. That did not even work the way we expected. This one is even worse. And with every state, US, they run a democracy. Britain runs a democracy. France runs a democracy. Germany runs a democracy. Are you telling me that the systems are the same? The answer is no.
Not, you see, for me,
because
gentlemen,
for us to move forward.
We need to take a break now. We need to take a breather. We'll go into our new studios downstairs to bring you news track on top of the hour. Mr. Aria, thank you very much for being part of the program. Supplementary elections, special channels television broadcast will be back at half the hour. Join us again.